don't think you got any of it. Like, is English a first language for you?
It is.
Because it seems here like it's like a 6. We could use this office for like a lot of stuff. If you're not here, we could put something we want here.
You really want to do this. If it gets to a point where you feel you're gonna have to staple a bit, it's probably best to move on.
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. A wise man named Tucker Carlson once told me that those who seek the applause and the plaudits of strangers are the world's greatest psychopaths and villains. And boy, is that correct. Everybody in Washington seeks to be adored by a bunch of losers and weirdos that they don't know, and seeks to do everything they possibly can to be the most liked person. And there's a clip I can't get out of my head. Now that Kamala Harris has been installed, right, as the new fake leader of the Democrat Party, there's a clip I cannot get out of my mind, which is when Kamala Harris was welcomed into a room at the White House. You can see the logo right there. At the White House, it's a group of like kids that are sitting there waiting for her to come in, and nobody claps. And the person is like, "You better clap now."
Stand as she enters the room. Hello, everybody. You can clap. It's okay.
And still nobody claps. And still no one claps. This is like a... They chose this audience. They chose this audience and nobody clapped because there's really nothing to clap about with Kamala Harris.
I know for this group, we all believe that when we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community.
Oh, okay. Good job. Yeah, great. It's always the people who use these like strange, hushed, creepy tones that are always like the world's biggest, like the people who are trying to act super nice and like smile like this are always the world's biggest psychopaths. Look at this.
New green boss is going to keep their signature yellow color.
Look at that face.
These are going to remain yellow school buses because who doesn't love a yellow school bus? They will remain yellow, but their heart will be green.
The thing that's always bothered me about Kamala is not just the fact that she demands that a rooms full of total strangers like stand and applaud for her when she walks in. It's not even that creepy, evil Joker laugh, right? That would make the Joker of Gotham City like spine tingle. It's the fact that when she laughs, it's clear that she doesn't find anything funny. She is just trying to do what she thinks normal people would do in that situation, as somebody who's never known actual joy, love, laughter, or happiness. It's deeply dark, and it's very sad. And it's always the kind of people that are like masking how happy they really are the most miserable. Okay? And that actually makes up the contingency of people voting for Kamala. The most miserable people on earth. This side of the people who work for Kamala Harris, which is becoming quite clear here in numbers of varying reporting circles. There have been lots of stories about how toxic it is to work for Kamala Harris. Snappy Kamala's toxic work culture, more former staffers come forward to describe unpredictable and demeaning vice president who leaves interns in tears and staff paranoid that she's going to snap at them. Sources describe to Business Insider how Kamala Harris was unpredictable at times and demeaning. Follows reports of abusive workplaces. Staffers who've worked for Kamala Harris while she was senator say San Francisco's district attorney and Kamala Harris they've confirmed the reports. Professor Barbara O'Connell claims 20 interns working for Harris came to her crying because they felt they weren't valued. Now, I don't really care about, you having any value. Let's go ahead and check the local papers here to see like what that reporting is all about. This dude's talking about his son, all right, in the local, in the union.com local paper in California. His son named Gregory had an eye-opening experience working for Kamala Harris. None of us expected. For his sake, the months could not pass quickly enough. Needless to say, he was delighted to work in Feinstein's office. This is the predecessor of Kamala Harris. 4 short episodes I would like to share from the months-long internship at Kamala's office. Senator Harris vocally throws around F-bombs and other profanity, constantly berating her staff and others. The staff is in complete fear of her as she uses her profanity throughout the day. As Attorney General, Harris instructed her entire staff to stand up every morning and shout, "Good morning, General!" Never once during the months-long internship did Harris introduce herself to our son The staff was too intimidated to introduce him. They also the only acknowledgement was a form letter of thanks signed by Harris in the last day of service. Gregory was also given instructions to never address Harris or look her in the eye, as that was a privilege only allowed for senior staff members. Seemed like a very centered person, or seems like a megalomaniacal sociopath, dead set on as much power as she can possibly gobble. This has been commentary that has been hitting DC, and also this Kamala Harris as a senator, Kamala Harris as vice president. It got even worse. Listen to this.
Because I want to put up on the screen, these are the 7 staffers, Katie, who have recently left the Harris office, and we can put those up. And at the same time, the vice president was asked about this on PBS, and she said this. Watch.
There have been a rash of stories about dissension inside your office, inside the White House, about questions about your role. What would you say you've learned over this year?
Well, one of the things I've learned is to get out of D.C.
Yep.
Oh, okay. To get away from the people that are criticizing me, rightfully. It's wild. There was a full in-depth report done by Jesse Waters to open up his show this week about Kamala Harris's psychotic treatment of those around her. You should check this out. And like a final note after this, check out Jesse Waters' excellent reporting.
Great leaders ignite a spark inside their staff. It's why Primetime's movement's so strong. The key is to challenge your employees without belittling them. You give them a purpose, create an environment where people want to show up for work. So when we learned that 92% of Kamala's staff quit, it raised red flags. How could she lead millions of Americans if she can't even lead 50? Gil Duran, who worked for Kamala when she was Attorney General of California, said the experience was unbearable. She was, quote, impossible to manage, and took out all of her stress on her staff, usually women and lower-level employees. Gil quit just 5 months into the job. Last straw, Kamala skipped out on a briefing and went berserk on a staff member to the point of tears because she was unprepared. And that tracks with what an unnamed White House staffer told the author, Chris Whipple, in his book, The Fight of His Life. They told him Kamala, quote, refused to do the kind of preparation that you need to do before going public on a hardcore policy matter. And then she became incensed and outraged when things wouldn't go the way she thought they were supposed to go. Even the interns weren't safe from Kamala's ire. Terry McKeeter, whose son spent months in Kamala's Attorney General's office, said she turned his kid's internship into a summer from hell. He says the interns were told to stand and say, "Good morning, General," when Kamala walked into the room. And they were told to never, ever address Kamala or even look her in the eyes. That privilege is for senior staff only. Kamala also had a filthy mouth and never met with the interns because staffers were too afraid to introduce them. Probably for the best. Look, everybody's had a bad boss at one point or the other, but usually that boss doesn't become president. If 92% of a company's workforce quit, would you keep the CEO? So why would we make Kamala America's CEO?
So why does this kind of stuff matter, right? It's amazing. You go to a Trump property and everybody's just like singing the guy's praises. Everyone just loves Donald Trump and everybody has a personal story. Donald Trump. We went to the Trump property a couple months ago and sat there with Trump's waiter, the waitress who actually serves Donald Trump. And like, she just, if anybody has shit to talk, right, it's like the service staff at these places. And gosh, they just love him. I've been backstage with President Trump and like seeing the way he treats the staff and the people who are working events, people like love him. On the other side, you have these Kamala Harris anecdotes, which everyone just seems to just despise her. 92% turnover rate. I mean, that's terrible. You're going to lose some people here and there. But like 92% of the people leaving you? How about your pets and animals? These are like great reflections of people. I like often talk about Joe Biden's dogs. Joe Biden's had to like has gone through 3 dogs in the White House. They kept biting people. They kept abusing people. They had to put them all down. This is like abuse. Like Joe Biden's an abusive person. It's the same thing, the same culture, the same commentary. the same reflection of who you are as a person, as a human being. Kids, dogs, the people who you work with, they see you the very most and see you also in your prone moments. And so you could see who a person is by a reflection of that. Do their kids love them? Are their animals sociopathic and scared and monstrous? Are the people that they work with? Like, you don't have to love your boss. You probably shouldn't love your boss, actually. But like, do people respect you? Are people terrified of you? Are they worried about looking you in the eyeball? Do they have to stand up and salute you? General. Good morning, General. Can you imagine? Sick people, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want those people leading the country. You don't want them leading your Waffle House, right? So, don't like people like that. Fabric and the character of a person, like, still matters, even today. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe.